Meanwhile, as tensions escalate in the Middle East, an Iranian drone struck a parking lot adjacent to the United States consulate in Dubai, causing a fire that was quickly contained by local authorities. No injuries were reported, with U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio confirming all American personnel were accounted for. The strike marks the second hit on a U.S. diplomatic facility in 2 days, following drone attacks on the U.S. Embassy in Riyadh and the closure of U.S. Embassy in Kuwait. Meanwhile, Nigeria's federal government has announced the immediate suspension of all pilgrimages to Israel, with the Nigerian Christian Pilgrim Commission citing the deteriorating security situation in the region as a reason for the decision. Now, the ripple effect of this conflict are being felt far beyond the Middle East, including here in Nigeria. And, as we continue to monitor the story, Dr. Bati, I'd like your thoughts on
First, the Nigerian government advising that nobody should go on pilgrimage to either Saudi Arabia or Israel at this time. That's a no-brainer. The thing speaks for itself. However, even if you want a flight, you won't get it. Now, but I wanted to comment on the law aspect, legal aspect of the killing of school children, about 150 of them. In some other accounts, the figure is put at 165, having been killed in Minab. Now, Israel has denied knowledge of the attack on civilians. The United States has also not agreed. Could it have been Iran attacking schools in its own territory? Now, it's a grave violation of international humanitarian law, and perhaps the saddest incident so far in this conflict between the countries involved. To the extent that if you look at the Geneva Convention of 1949, Articles 3, 4 of that convention, Articles 3 and 4 of that convention specifically names persons that should not be attacked. Absolutely. In the case of war, to ensure that there is proportion and that human rights are also protected. Children are specifically mentioned, particularly children who are not involved in the war, who are under the age of 15. The sick and the wounded, prisoners of war, aid workers, persons who are hors de combat, that means persons who are not part of it. And that's to ensure that even in a war situation, you don't come and talk about collateral damage. You make the effort to protect persons who are not directly involved in the war. But I hope that when this ends, all the persons who engage in war crimes and crimes against humanity, as the protocols of the International Criminal Court, ICC, points out, will be made to answer for war crimes, because the number of people who are committing crimes against humanity is continuing. And in such case, when a proper accounting is asked to be given, I hope that there will be no partiality and there will be nobody coming to say, oh, we were not part of the Rome Statute, because that's what the United States will say. That is what Israel will also say when we get to that point.
Okay.
Very sad one as regards the killing of those kids. But like you said rightly, Dr. Abati, the Israelis have denied it. They didn't only deny, like the Americans do, they denied and put forward propaganda. You know the propaganda they've been pushing, and a couple of other people that are very right-leaning, is the fact that, there's an Iranian base, an IRG base close to the place. They said it was Iranians that shot the place, which is a lie, which has been debunked. So we know the kind of lies. And it's a very sad one. But on top of this, Oji, you say you wanted investigation by this Trump administration. That is very hypocritical. On top of this, Melania Trump went to stamp on the grave of the dead kids by going to the United Nations for a United Nations kids, whatever, and saying that peace can never be fragile a day after the kids die. So is it the same America that kills his own citizens on the street, that killed Alex Pretty and all of that will be accountable? They will never be accountable. You think they don't know? They know what is going on. Right. But it's the lack of accountability that always bedevils the ecosystem. I was just reading a report before we came on the air by TRT, when they were saying that, they actually told some of the American military officers that are fighting that this war against Iran is their Armageddon. So you can see the religious connotation at which they are lying and all of that. And Dr. Abati, you were talking about the United Nations. With due respect, it is weak countries that the international courts docks. Weak countries like Liberia, Slobodan Milosevic, it's people like that. With all the war crimes and atrocities Bush committed in all the years that they fought war, did you see them ever being brought to book? They will never be. That's the hypocrisy. That's why
he's even sanctioning
United Nations. Oji, were we not here when Israel was started bullying the United Nations? That's why Fela was correct. Waiting United is a United Nation. Right. One veto vote is equal to 99 or more. So let's keep deceiving ourselves with the hypocrisy of the world.
Young girls, over 150 of them died needlessly in this senseless war. May their souls rest in peace. Well, as the world watches Iran stand at its most historic crossroads in nearly 5 decades, it is worth pausing to remember the Iran that once was before the Islamic Revolution in 1979. Iran was a vastly different country, cosmopolitan, modern, and rapidly westerning under the rule of King Mohammed Reza Pahlavi, the Shah. From 1941 to 1979, the Shah pushed Iran towards secular modernization, expanding the economy, growing educational opportunities, and dramatically advancing women's rights. Women gained the right to vote. In the mid-1960s, the first female representatives were elected to parliament. The hijab was banned in public, and women mixed freely with men in universities, workplaces, and social spaces. Tehran, once described as one of the most cosmopolitan cities in the Middle East, had ski resorts, bustling department stores, and a thriving arts and music scene. The images and footage emerging from that era tell a striking story. Tehran, with its modern architecture, busy highways, and gleaming infrastructure, women in miniskirts and swimsuits, strolling freely in public, men and women socializing at parties, beaches, discos, and universities, fashion shows, music performances, and theater productions flourishing across the capital, and a booming oil industry that was the envy of the region. But the Shah's modernization came at a cost. His increasingly authoritarian grip, backed by the CIA and the United Kingdom, fueled deep resentment among religious conservatives and ordinary Iranians who felt their culture was being dismantled. That resentment culminated in the revolution of February 11th, 1979, which swept the Shah from power, rolling back 70 years of women's rights. Virtually overnight, the hijab became mandatory, freedoms vanished, and the Iran the world had once known disappeared. Now, 47 years later, with Khamenei gone and Iran's future uncertain, those vintage photographs of women in miniskirts on the streets of Tehran are circulating once again on social media, a reminder of what was and perhaps a quiet prayer for what could be again. History does not always move in a straight line, but today Iran stands at a turning point and the world is watching. The world is certainly watching. Those images were quite nostalgic when they began trending again on social media after the US and Israeli attacks. Let's now turn our attention to this deeply disturbing story emerging from River State, where a teenage girl, Ogadima Uchechi, from Odioku community in Aoda West local government area, was reportedly physically attacked after posting a viral video highlighting the deplorable condition of the only secondary school in her community. The video shows Uchechi standing before a classroom of students in red uniforms, appealing directly to the community chairman, Eugene Cheta Ekpele, to come to the rescue of the children who need schools, chairs, boards, or windows. The assault was said to have occurred on the 27th of February when the chairman reportedly visited Uchechi's family home with his brother and several men. The chairman's brother was said to have attacked her, accusing her of damaging his brother's image online and left her with a swollen and bruised lip, facial swelling, cuts, and visible bleeding. While in an interview with BBC Pidgin, Uchechi recounted how Ekpele's brother forced entry into her home, pushed her mother, and beat her and attempted to strike her head with a shovel.
So Monday pushed my gate, entered my compound, and then he started beating me. He beat me until my mommy then now cry and then shout, say, make people come help her, say Chama won't kill him pikin. Then Kakoro God's time come enter, hold the shovel away. Monday Cheta, the one use hit my head. So after that, the community people come they shout for the chairman, say why chairman go do this kind of thing? And then he entered this vehicle and he left. I don't fear for my life because he mean to say even though say anything happen to me, say nobody go hold am. My mother now, our life they at risk. So now I'm scared and I'm calling out for help.
Well, the Aoda West local government has denied the allegations, calling them false and misleading, but offer no counter evidence and made no attempt to address the state of the school. As of now, no confirmed police investigation has been reported. Human rights group FIDA has since been involved, and Nigerians on social media are directing their outrage at River State Governor Sim Fubara, demanding accountability. This young girl just went to, do what she deems as right for her community, highlight the deplorable state of a school.
Simple.
The only secondary school, I am told, in her community, and was beaten blue-black, even with a threat of a shovel on her head.
We demand justice for Ogadima. We demand justice for the Uchechi family in Ahoda, West, right? Local government area of River State. We demand justice for all those children attending this particular school, because education is not a privilege, it's a right. So stated boldly in Chapter 2 of the Nigerian Constitution 1999. And when you see schools like this, either in Rivers or elsewhere, where students are subjected to sheer indignity, sheer deprivation, subjecting them to studying in this kind of inhuman environment, government should be called to order. And I believe that Ms. Ogadima Uchechi has not done anything that is wrong, criminal. She has the right to say, look at the environment where we're studying. And what we have seen now is also the power of social media. Everybody is a journalist now, whether they are teenagers or whatever. They have a voice. Social media has given them a voice. And she has used her own voice in a constructive manner by engaging in social criticism so early in life. Now, why I say justice for the Uchechi family, the chairman, if it is true that he went there with thugs, because the people who went to brutalize the young lady, they are thugs, the family should sue for trespass, because the chairman didn't go there on the invitation of the family, and he went there to assault the daughter. He should even be charged also for assault.
Yes,
because we have been condemning Donald Trump on this table, that he's doing might is right. The chairman should not be behaving like he's mighty and turning his local government into a thug local government. So that's why the matter should be reported to the police, and the police should also do their job. They should not say, hey, we are not aware of the story. No, there's threat to life, which they must take up. And the persons, the thugs of our other local government area that have been mentioned in this matter, they should be taken to court to come and defend themselves.
Or if they try to explain Nigeria to you and you understand, it's either your brain is confused or something. One would have thought that in a society where people bring public accountability to bear, the local government chairman will call us, oh, sorry, this is happening in your score. Thank you, and we fix it. But you go ahead to beat the person. These are the same people you will ask for their vote and you say you want to serve. So if they explain Nigeria to you and you understand it, you must be mad.
Absolutely. We demand justice for the Uchechi family. Let's now take reactions to the decision by the Nigeria Medical Regulatory Body, which has officially suspended Uracare Medical Director Dr. Tunde Majekodumi and 2 other doctors following the death of Nkanu Adechi Esege, son of renowned author Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and her husband, Dr. Ivara Esege, after a panel established a prima facie case of medical negligence and professional misconduct. The child died on January 7th after receiving treatment, first at Atlantis Hospital and subsequently at Uracare Hospital in Lagos. In response, Uracare stated its commitment to cooperating with authorities, but warned that confidential patient information appeared to have been disclosed outside appropriate channels, a concern they intend to raise through legal and regulatory means. 3 doctors suspended and a grieving family still waiting for justice. It is worth noting that Uracare's response focused not on condolences or accountability, but on confidentiality breaches, a reaction that many will find deeply insensitive in the face of the child's death. And I'll take a response from Adeni, who wrote, "This is the harsh reality we are facing in this country. It is one of the reasons the average life expectancy in Nigeria is set to be around 52 to 54 years. Our healthcare system is far from where it should be. Too often we hear of negligence, carelessness, and a nonchalant attitude as if human life does not matter. Patients deserve proper treatment, compassion, and respect, not neglect or indifference. If negligence is proven, in any case, those responsible must be held accountable. Beyond that, we urgently need serious reforms in the health sector so families stop losing loved ones to preventable situations." And this is really, I think, for me, the main point. We need serious reforms in our healthcare system. If negligence is proven, this is really a damning indictment on our healthcare system. You heard Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's account of how her son was neglected. This is the first time I'm discussing this story as well, because I have really gone through grief. So I understand what she absolutely is feeling at this moment. Also with the statement that was put out. For me, I thought that, it was unnecessary. If you are having to have a breach in your system, discuss that within your organization. The public, we don't need to hear that. We all just need accountability at this moment.
Absolutely. So the key word is accountability, and I love the last post you read out, which is, at the end of the day, reform in the health sector.